So, you're thinking of moving to Bluffton, South Carolina or Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, and maybe you can't make up your mind. In today's video, we are going to compare these two neighboring cities to tell you what they have in common and what makes each one of them unique, so you can make the right choice between Bluffton or Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Do you want to know everything there is to know about the South Carolina Lowcountry? Whether it's Bluffton, Beaufort, Hilton Head Island, or Jasper County? Then subscribe below and tap that bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about the current market in the South Carolina Lowcountry. My name is David Simcox, host of Lowcountry Lifestyles and a local realtor. I get calls and emails every day from people just like you and you and you looking to make their move to the South Carolina Lowcountry, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're making your move in 3 days or 3 months, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or book a Zoom call, all in the description below, so I can help you find your Lowcountry lifestyle. In today's video, we are going to be going inside my computer to look at Hilton Head Island and Bluffton, South Carolina, to see what do they have in common and what makes each one of them unique. So if you're moving from places like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, California, or anywhere else in the country, and you're trying to make up your mind between Bluffton or Hilton Head, you'll kind of have a little bit more information about these two cities. So again, Bluffton versus Hilton Head Island. This is the battle royale. Let's get ready to rumble. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is the housing stock in Hilton Head and in Bluffton. And one of the main things you're going to notice, let's go to Hilton Head Island first. And the big thing is Hilton Head is definitely more expensive than Bluffton. If you look here, Hilton Head, these are just single family homes, and if I sort it by listing price, active right now there's about 113 homes for sale in Hilton Head, and you can see the least expensive home in Hilton Head right now is $475. The majority of these are in the 5s, and then they get up into the 7s, and then you quickly get into the $1 million range, and then up into the 2 millions, the 3 millions, and all the way up into the 5, 6, and 7 millions. So if you want a standalone home, you're probably looking in the 700s all the way up to the 7 millions. Now, if we go over here to Bluffton for standalone homes, currently there are 266 standalone homes, and so you can remember there was only 100 some in Hilton Head, so you've got almost double the volume. And then when I sort it by listing price, you can see you've got a lot more options in kind of more affordable areas. So some of these are townhouses, but you've got some in the 300s, you've got a lot in the 400s, you've got a bunch in the 500s, you've got a bunch in the 600s, 700 to 800, some in the millions, and then of course you've got almost a full page of properties in the 1, 2, and 3 millions and on up. I think the most expensive one right now is 11 million. So yes, there are luxury homes in both markets. There are multi-million-dollar homes in both markets. But if you're not a $1 million buyer, you probably are going to be over on the Bluffton side of the bridge. The other difference is Hilton Head has condos and villas, and Bluffton doesn't really have that. So let's go Hilton Head Island, condos. So in Hilton Head Island, you've got 141 condos and villas. And keep in mind those condos and villas, let's go over to list price so you can kind of get a feel for this. I'll sort these by list price. And so you've got some in the hundreds, they quickly jump into the 300s. And then you've got a bunch of the 400s, 500s, 600s. And of course, they go up into the, they go up into the 7s, 8s, and into the millions. There's a couple that are 2, 3, and 4 million, but the majority of them are under $1 million. And some of these allow short-term rentals, meaning you can put them on Airbnb, you can generate income from them when you're not using them, you can rent them out to golfers that are coming in town. And some of them do not allow for short-term rentals. So if you're thinking of putting your condo on the short-term market, be sure and talk to a realtor like myself so we can tell you which neighborhoods are available for that and which ones aren't, which ones are good options for that. The other thing you have to take into consideration is the regime fee, which is also like a POA fee, a condo fee. And you can see generally these start in the 400s and go up to 500, 600, but typically they include insurance on the exterior of the building, and they include usually a roof replacement, and some of them will include the cable TV or internet service, landscaping on the grounds. You'll still need insurance on the interior. The other thing, so if I go back here to Bluffton, let's go condos again, and let's go Bluffton. You'll see Bluffton only has 7 condos. So there's not many choices. You've got Plantation Point, Bridgepoint, Villas at Old South. So if you want to live in a condo, you pretty much are gonna have to be over on the Hilton Head side. Another difference in the housing market between Bluffton and Hilton Head is Bluffton has what we call active adult communities. So the main ones, you've got Sun City, that's the largest. You also have one called Riverbend. You've got one called Four Seasons at Carolina Oaks. You've got Latitude, Margaritaville. Let's see if I can add Latitude in here. Latitude, Margaritaville. These are the 2 big ones, Latitude and Sun City. They make up about 90% of the active adult community properties. But if you look here, you can see these are just the active ones. There are 99 homes available, right? So that's a big part of our market over in Bluffton is the active adult community. I think it represents about 25 to 30% of our market over here. And you can see lots of choices here. If we sort them by listing price, there's a couple in the 2s, but you've got 300s, 400s, 500s, 600s, and the most expensive one is 2.1 million. But you've got some pretty good affordable options. When I say active adult community, that means at least one member of the household has to be over 55. And some of these are awesome. I mean, like Sun City has, I don't know if it's hundreds of millions, but probably close to hundreds of millions of dollars of amenities. Pools, pickleball, indoor, outdoor pools, like hundreds of clubs that you can be a member of, travel clubs, sports activities, softball teams, dog parks, like anything and everything you could ever want to do. And their fees are like $2,000 and change per year, and you get all those amenities included. So they say if you get bored in Sun City or Margaritaville, it's your own fault. Hilton Head does not have the active adult community property, so that is unique to Bluffton. The other thing to keep in mind when comparing Bluffton and Hilton Head Island real estate is the age of the real estate itself. So a lot of, let's go back real quick to Hilton Head, and you can see there are 255 or 113 active homes in here. And let's see if they have it sortable by age of the property. Well, let's just click on a few of these so you can see. A lot of them, I'm not going to go into each property, but a lot of the homes in Hilton Head were built in the 80s and the 90s, and some of them before that and some of them after that. But you'll notice a lot of the architectural styles are a little bit dated, and some of the finishes are dated. Some of them still have polybutylene pipes, so you definitely want to have a home inspection and and make sure that there's no underlying issues with that. And you might have to do some updating when it comes to a Hilton Head Island property. To where Bluffton started out as just a 1 square mile by 1 square mile little village on the May River. And it was really just built out like in the last 20 years. So Bluffton, the housing stock is very new, and a lot of new construction neighborhoods and even a lot of the resales were built in the last 10 years. So you have the latest and greatest when it comes to open floor plans, when it comes to fit and finish, certain things that people want. And the upkeep is kind of deferred, so you may not have to worry so much about a roof and an HVAC system right off the bat. The other thing when it comes to housing is Hilton Head Island allows for short-term rentals, which means there's going to be a lot of tourists coming and going. And if you buy a condo or a home in an area that allows for short-term rentals, you may be living next door to a house that has people coming and going and partying in the pool, and they're there on vacation. They may not treat it exactly the same way or live there the same way that you do. And some people love living next to vacation rental homes because they like to meet a lot of new people. Now, Bluffton, almost all of Bluffton, I'd say 90+% of it, is in planned communities. Some of them are behind gates, some of them are not behind gates, but they're all in these planned communities that have these common amenities, which could include pools, pickleball, tennis, basketball, all kinds of activities, including golf and things for kids and families. And typically they only allow for long-term rentals, like a year plus or 6 month plus. They're not going to allow for short-term rentals. There are some short-term rentals that are allowed around the Old Town area, and we'll get into that in just a minute and show you where that's at. So I think that is probably the majority of the similarities and differences when it comes to the housing. Now, let's just talk about the kind of overall feel of Hilton Head versus the feel of Bluffton. If I had to describe Hilton Head, I would say it's upscale and it's luxurious, and it also has a great emphasis on conservation and preservation. They do take a portion of some of the real estate proceeds, they put it back into developing green spaces on the island. They limit the size of signage on businesses to make sure that it's very understated when it comes to the commercial presence in Hilton Head. And like I said, it's very upscale and luxurious. Now, the feel of Bluffton is slightly different. So I would say it's more laid back and charming. So if I say Old Town Bluffton here, and I show you just some images, you'll see it's kind of historic and quaint, and there's a lot of these little shops and art galleries, and they've preserved a lot of the old historic houses, and you've kind of got a little bit more of like a hometown feel where you're gonna get to know your neighbors, you're gonna see a lot of the same people around town. And although there is a tourist market in Bluffton, people are not coming and going quite as much. Or if they're visiting Hilton Head on vacation, they might stop over to Bluffton and take a look around or spend an afternoon there. And it is becoming more of a tourist destination, but definitely not the type of tourist that we have over in Hilton Head. All right, so the next difference is, I'm going to call it beach life versus river life. So Hilton Head Island is known for its beaches. So it's got Hilton Head. Let me go to the map here and let's go to Hilton Head Island. And so you can see Hilton Head Island is an island, just like it sounds like. So you've got miles and miles of beaches that go all the way around. And there are so many options for beaches in Hilton Head. And so beaches alone, if I look here, Coligny is definitely like the most popular beach. That's where the majority of tourists hang out. And so it can get a little bit crowded. You've got beaches down in Sea Pines, And then a lot of the locals like to go up to these beaches like Bradley Beach, Burks Beach, Folly Field Beach. There are some tourist rentals around that area. So there's beaches galore on Hilton Head. And so if you're a beach goer, you might want to consider Hilton Head. Now, when I say it's beaches versus rivers, let's go back over here to Bluffton. So let me get my draw on tool. Bluffton is this whole area in here. And Bluffton is most known for this right here, which is the May River. And the May River comes right through town. This is Old Town Bluffton right here. And of course, you've got some beautiful old historic buildings, and there is a dock right here at Bluffton Oyster Factory Park overlooking the May River. And the May River has boating and fishing and crabbing, and you can paddleboard out there and you can kayak out there. And really, like, the big hangout there is the sandbar. So because it's salt water and it's tidal, the tide goes in and out, and when it's low tide, there is a sandbar that comes up and everybody pulls up. There's hundreds of boats that pull up in the summertime. Everybody unloads their dogs and their coolers, and they bring their family out, and they, that's kind of the social gathering. You can do all kinds of, you can even water ski in the May River. It's really, really cool there. But I say it's river life versus beach life, because there's not actually a beach in here in Bluffton that's, like an oceanfront beach. So do you prefer the river or do you prefer the beach? All right, something they both have in common. Let's go to Bluffton, and they both have amazing golf courses. So whether you're living in Bluffton or whether you're living in Hilton Head, I mean, if you look here, there are so many golf courses. This is like a golf mecca. Some of these are private and some of them are public. So I mean, Okatee Golf Club, that's over in Sun City. Then you've got Rose Hill. Rose Hill is a public golf club. Belfair is private. Crescent is public. Pinecrest is public. And then you've got all these golf courses over here in Hilton Head as well. And again, some of them are private. And when I say private, that means you have to live in that neighborhood and you have to pay a membership fee to be a member of that club. And some of those can be as high as, $90,000 to buy into the club and $20,000, $30,000 per year to play in those clubs. But for some of you guys out there watching these videos, that may sound like a steal. If speed of play and being able to walk the course and know who you're playing with every week, if that's important to you, then you might want to consider a private golf course. And, for some of you guys coming from like California and some of these other kind of higher value areas, $30,000 a year may sound like a steal to play somewhere like Belfair or Colleton River or even Palmetto Bluff, this May River Club out at Palmetto Bluff. So either one, if you're a golfer, Hilton Head or Bluffton, they're both amazing golf destinations. And not to get too far away, but keep in mind, we've got Beaufort right across the river over here and there are tons of golf courses over there as well. All right, moving on to the next point, tourism. Hilton Head Island has been voted the #1 island in the continental United States year over year. It is a huge tourist destination. It's one of the most visited places on the entire East Coast. And so that's good and it's bad depending on how you look at it. So during tourism season, which is from, that would be from Memorial Day to Labor Day, you're going to have a huge influx of people here. So if you're living on Hilton Head Island, or if you're coming and going, there's this bridge that's right here going onto the island. There's two ways on and off basically. And, you're going to have to fight some traffic. And, if that's a problem for you, you might consider going over to Bluffton, Hilton Head's neighbor right over here. Now, Bluffton is starting to get some tourism, but mostly people come to the island and then they come over here to Bluffton to just kind of visit for a day or an afternoon. But that is kind of changing. Again, the feel of Hilton Head and the feel of Bluffton are a little bit different. Like I mentioned, the island is going to be a little bit more of a resort feel. You've got tons of resorts, you've got tons of timeshares, you've got tons of hotels, you've got tons of dining options. And Bluffton is going to be a little bit more of a historic feel. And it's going to, Bluffton puts a huge emphasis on historic preservation. Like trying to refurbish a building in Old Town, it can be a little bit of a challenge with the zoning and local boards, because they really do put a huge emphasis on maintaining the historical integrity and feel of the Old Town area. And when I say Old Town, I mean this little area right in here on the May River. This is a 1 square mile by 1 square mile area that used to be all of Bluffton. It was like 100 people that lived down here on the May River. And over the past like 20 years, it has just like exploded, and it's becoming one of the fastest growing areas in South Carolina. And for those of you that are watching from outside areas, the top 3 or 4 areas in the United States where people are moving to are Texas, Florida, South Carolina, and I forget what the other one is. So if you remember what that 4th one is, comment down below and let us know. The other part of tourism that plays into this is I think there's more things to do. Like if you go Hilton Head and you say like tourist activities, tourist attractions, I mean, there's just all kinds of things to do here. I don't know why they're not listing them, but there's ropes course, there's obstacle courses, there's boat rentals. Outside Hilton Head is a great company for a lot of that stuff. You can rent jet skis, you can go on charter boats, you can play putt-putt golf. I mean, you think of like any tourist destination, they're going to have like a million things for people to do, for kids, for families. Bluffton, it has some, it's got like some escape rooms. It's got, it's got some kind of cool stuff going on there, but it doesn't have the volume of tourist activities that Hilton Head has. So if you need a million things to do to kind of keep you busy, maybe Hilton Head is the place. All right, I'm going to move along to restaurants. And so restaurants on Hilton Head Island, let's search here. So on Hilton Head Island, it's only showing these ones here, but there are actually 250 plus restaurants on Hilton Head Island. And the thing I love about Hilton Head is some of these just have amazing views. They're on the water, overlooking the ocean, great music almost every night of the week. They have live music at a lot of these places because obviously they're catering to tourists. Now, the downside of that is, again, when you're going from Memorial Day to Labor Day, a lot of these restaurants are going to have like an hour to 2 hour wait. So if you live on Hilton Head Island, it may be a little bit of a pain to dine out during that busy tourist season. Now, over in Bluffton, there are also a ton of restaurants. I would say maybe not quite as many fine dining restaurants, but there are some amazing restaurants here. I mean, you've got the Bluffton Room, which is really, in my opinion, one of the best restaurants in Bluffton. Here it is, the Bluffton Room. That's fine dining. But then you also have, some places that have been around forever, like the Squat and Gobble. I love the Squat and Gobble, and it's a place you can go in and get eggs and bacon and, cheap breakfast. And you see some of the old timers that have been around Bluffton forever. And then you also have just some kind of chain restaurants and, different kinds of dining options. So both of them have some great restaurants, but again, if you're concerned about waiting in line and that sort of thing, maybe stick over to the Bluffton side. All right. Another thing to consider is hurricane evacuation. So of course, if you live on the island, this is a barrier island and it's right here on the ocean. So if a hurricane is coming and if you live on Hilton Head Island, you probably want to evacuate when there is a hurricane coming. And I know some of you guys coming from outside the area, like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, California, wherever, you hear hurricane and you automatically freak out. Well, I have lived here on the East Coast most of all my adult life, and hurricanes are just a part of life. And if you live in California, you've got mudslides and wildfires. And if you live in the Midwest, you've got tornadoes. And I think everybody has their thing they have to deal with, as long as you kind of know what it's all about and you realize, hey, if there's a big storm coming, I have to get out of here, and you have the proper precautions in place. Hurricanes, to me, they're not that big of a deal, and they make for some great surfing afterwards. Now, if you live in Bluffton, I'd say that it's less likely that you have to evacuate. You know, if you're in if it's like a level 1 hurricane or just a tropical storm, a lot of these neighborhoods are far enough west that you may or may not want to evacuate. I'll leave that up to you. If you're living out here a little further, like in Ridgeland, again, I know this video is not about Ridgeland, but the further inland you get, the less likely you are to have to evacuate. But again, Hilton Head Island, I would definitely say you're going to want to evacuate if there's a hurricane. I would also say proximity to neighboring towns is important. So if you live in Bluffton right here, which again, Bluffton and Hilton Head are next door neighbors, but if you're right here in Bluffton, you are only a hop, skip, and a jump right over here to Savannah, which Savannah is one of the major tourist destinations on the southeast coast and has an amazing history and background, and it's so worth visiting. And I actually like to go down there and have lunch and dinner on a regular basis, and I treat Savannah almost like my second home because we're so close to it. And you also, if you're leaving from Bluffton, you're closer to Beaufort, which is another amazing historic little town. It dates back to like the 1500s. I think it's maybe the second oldest town on the East Coast. And there's also Paris Island, which is where we train our U.S. Marines. And there's also an air station up here. And then it's also a little bit closer if you want to make this hike over to Charleston. Charleston's only about maybe a 2-hour drive. And again, that's one of the major tourist destinations on the East Coast. And so if you're living in Bluffton, it is just a little bit more convenient to hop over to Savannah or to Beaufort or to Charleston. And again, some people actually commute to Savannah to work every day, working at places like Gulfstream and some of the major employers in the area. And if you're living in Hilton Head, of course, you're just a little bit more isolated, and it's a little bit more difficult to get over to Savannah and Beaufort and Charleston. You can still get there, just add 30 minutes basically to that drive. The last thing that I want to talk about is shopping. So if you are a shopaholic and you're considering Bluffton or Hilton Head, I would say that Hilton Head Island has more upscale shopping. So if you really want premium brands and you want, you have a little bit finer taste in things, you've got like the Village at Wexford, you've got some of these different plazas that feature some of the more exclusive brand name stores and products. And same thing when it comes to their grocery shopping, is they've got things like Fresh Market and things with a lot more organic and higher end products in that sort of thing. Now, over in Bluffton, there's some great shopping, but in Old Town, it's going to be more boutique type of products. There's a lot of small, locally owned, kind of mom and pop type boutiques. And then you've also got the, trying to find it here, but you've got Tanger Outlets. Tanger Outlets has all of your kind of name brand stores, And it is, it's an outlet. It's 2 outlet stores. So it's great for shopping. It's great for discounts, but definitely not if you're going for the more high-end premium name brands. And when it comes to groceries in Bluffton, there are a lot of options. You've got Publix, you've got Kroger here, you've got another Kroger over here, you've got a Publix here. They just added this Aldi. Some of you guys love Aldi, so that's a new one. They've got Food Lion, and they've got Publix over here, but there's not like the Fresh Market and some of those things that have all organic. So if that's what you're looking for, either look over on the Hilton Head side, or you can always drive to Hilton Head if you have to get some of that stuff. So that's basically it for my comparison between Bluffton and Hilton Head. I hope that was interesting for you. Okay, folks, thanks for staying till the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that comparison between Bluffton and Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. I hope that helped you make a decision which is better for you and your family. And again, if I can help you find your low country lifestyle, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or book a Zoom call, all in the description below. And of course, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap that bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about the current market in the South Carolina Low Country. Again, my name is David Simcox, host of Low Country Lifestyles and a local realtor. And until next time, thank you for spending your time with me today, and have a wonderful day.